Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Societal Narcissism. This video is sponsored by contribution from Thomas. Here's what he writes. I found this video about estranged parents on Fox News. This family therapist is basically saying what Dr. Phil was saying on that estranged parent video you did about the meth head mom. Do you think these therapists are basically trying to get us back into contact with our parents so they can make money because they know we'll be needing lots of therapy if we do that? It is definitely something that is going on with these therapists. They see a money grab. So I got this video, you sent this video as well. And then I have another video to show after that on this same subject. So let's get right into it.
Thanksgiving's coming up. Maybe you'll have some of these discussions or have some of these feelings. And Time magazine recently had a story that more adult children than ever before are estranged from their parents. What's causing this?
And the fact that the media is picking this up just shows how far the no contact movement has gone, and it's catching on and it's working.
What's the solution to mending fences? We've got family therapists, right?
And again, they want to mend these fences, and we've already mended our fence. Okay, they don't want to mend fences. They want to tear down a fence, because what's a fence? A fence is a boundary. The fence isn't broken. The fence is working. So this whole idea of mending fences is a complete canard. It's a lie. Okay? Because no contact is a fence. It is your boundary. There's nothing there that needs to be mended.
Rachel Glick joining us to discuss children. And Rachel, you were saying you were unaware of that article, but you recently wrote one on the same subject.
Yes. It's been going on for some time that I'm seeing more and more estrangement happening. And there's really a shifting in values in our society from the millennials, like people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and they have a different idea about the power dynamic in the relationship in terms of them.
This isn't a shift in values. This is a response to a lifetime of toxicity and abuse. This just didn't start when we were adults.
Establishing more of the boundaries that they want to have in a relationship and the quality of a relationship they want to have.
Are they the ones cutting off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe too critical, or what do you want to make a statement?
Sometimes it depends. People have different views on that. I think balance is always the best to try to find middle ground, but there are...
No. There's the abuser's view, and then there's the truth of their abuse. It's not two different views.
A lot of people these younger generations are really finding that they are not okay with some of the cultural norms of how their parents have been relating with them.
There has been a dramatic shift in the past 50 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's like an expectation that the older generation now fit in with some of the more psychologically informed ways of relating, which can relate to boundaries, it can relate to how...
Yeah. Don't scream, don't call names, don't compete, don't be physically abusive, don't be sexually abusive, don't be toxic, don't be competitive. Like, I'm sorry if you don't want to adjust to your cultural norms, okay? That's not normal culturally. It isn't.
How they support them or not support them.
What are some of the things that happen that create these divisions?
Well, some of the first one is about boundaries, where the older generation, the parent in this case, is getting involved with being critical or unsolicited advice about their partner, unsolicited advice about how they parent or their body or their choices, and that creates separation.
But that isn't new behavior. All of what what this doctor or psychologist, whatever she is talking about isn't behavior that just started when we were adults. This is carried over from childhood.
And that's a big one. And some of the other ones are just, sometimes there's some toxicity that can go on.
Sometimes, all the time. All the time there's toxicity.
That carried on from child.
Nobody's going no contact with somebody who's not toxic.
Childhood, that now as adults, they don't want that in their life anymore.
And why do they keep using B-roll where they're focusing on people's asses? Like, what is this? What does this have to do with estrangement?
anymore.
So how do you create empathy on both sides so that these people can come together?
No. There is no empathy on both sides. There is no empathy on both sides. This is why you don't go to these type of people. Okay? Under the guise of mending fences. We put up the fence. The fence is fucking fine. Okay? If anything, we want to strengthen the fence, not mend it. When they're talking about mending fences, they're talking about taking down and eliminating your boundary. No, we're the one who put the fence up in the first place. There is no need for it to be mended.
Well, I really spend a lot of time in my therapy office with adult children and their parents, either one or the other or both together, and really trying to have healing conversations about this, keeping in mind what each are capable of, what they're ready for.
And look at the picture they use of obviously the adult child with the hands clenched, like we're the ones who are violent, though we are angry. Okay, it's all how the media now is going to present us as angry and entitled, okay, and lacking empathy for them. And look, the parents sitting there looking at the balled up fists. This is all bullshit
to handle, but trying to keep the defensiveness out. It's a powerful thing for a parent to allow the child to express themselves and what it was like for them growing up. It's a very hard thing to do, to be present for that, but giving them a chance to have a voice and really having empathy.
They just keep focusing on the clenching fist. This is what the media does. They present a narrative.
Empathy for what it was like for them. And then also having the child understand and hear the parent about their feelings and their needs. And then
it's always been about the parents' needs. That's why we've gone no contact. Believe me, we understand who we went no contact with. We understand what their needs are. That's why we went no contact and put up a boundary, put up a fence. The fence doesn't need to be mended.
You really want to create a new reality going forward. How are we going to do this together and not dwell on the past?
No, there is no there's only reality. The new reality is you going back and accepting old bullshit. That's what they're talking about new realities.
What can we do going forward that both are going to feel comfortable and safe and feel good inside themselves as you connect?
It's like having a summit and coming up with an agreement and both signing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You say
That's the goal.
You say don't do it alone. Don't try, because there's so many buttons that people point.
Exactly.
Yeah, pay me. Come into my office, have long, drawn out therapy, okay, where you can be gaslighted, where you can be guilt tripped. No.
I really recommend it being facilitated because we think we're better listeners than we really are. And a lot of things can get triggered and then it can go downward so quickly.
All right, family therapist Rachel Glick, thanks so much for joining us again.
It's so good to see you.
And you can find more information on our website at...
Yeah, fuck your website. So, this led me to this video. Same thing from about a year ago. Another Fox station. Okay. Watch how the media, this guy, Isaiah Factor, sets this whole thing up.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Question for parents out there. Can you imagine your child tearing up your house in the middle of a temper tantrum? And this was so disturbing to me. Take a look. It's a reality for one woman. This video of her destroyed home has gone viral. According to reports, her teen son, who's 15 years old and 270 pounds, suffers from mental health issues, did all of this. It's a nightmare. She was crying on that video.
What does this have to do with estranged parents? Because this is a clip. Like, this isn't somebody, this is Fox themselves putting this up under the title, More Adult Children Are Cutting Their Parents Off. So before they even get to that subject, they show a clip of a 15-year-old who has mental issues destroying her mother's house, destroying his mother's house. something that has nothing to do with any of this. But what it does is it gives cover, it gives a tool to these estranged parents saying, yeah, my kid was violent, my kid was like this, no, and it's not. It's not what we're talking about. This has nothing to do with estranged parents. Nothing. Yet, they use this as a lead-in to what you're about to say.
And many parents are struggling dealing with a situation like that and know where to turn, because if you call the cops, then you end up with a death, so
right off the bat, they're making the parents the victim with something that has nothing to do with the subject matter that's being posted about.
It's just a tough struggle for parents out there. And while we're on the subject... No. ...of family problems, a new study suggests a growing divide after those adult kids leave the nest.
Those adult kids, do you see what they're doing here? Do you see what they're doing? And you're gonna see why, because I've watched this clip. You're gonna see why they're doing it. Because this doesn't go in the direction that he wants it to go.
More of them are making the tough choice to actually cut their parents off, no longer communicate or deal with them, period.
Dr. Jasmine Boone is here to talk about this new trend of adult children cutting ties with their parents. I think the number, Dr. Boone, is about more than 60 million adult children who've cut ties with their parents. Why?
It's boundaries, right? We've always been taught, especially depending on the culture, you don't get to choose your family, which the implication is you're stuck with your family. You have to deal with it no matter what.
And
I think as people are in therapy and beginning to heal and learn.
Now, she's very good. She knows her shit. Hence why they started this with kind of like a bait and switch of some mentally disturbed 15-year-old destroying the house and trying to give empathy and sorrow to the abusive parent.
And more about what's appropriate and what's healthy for them. They're saying, no, I don't have to deal with abusive behavior, toxic behavior. They're saying,
bullshit.
I realize I don't have to deal with this. I'm an adult. Maybe I even have my own family now. And so they're setting really, really loud boundaries. It's actually pretty healthy.
And exactly. They're putting up our boundaries, our own fences, and those fences don't need to be mended. There's a reason why the boundary is there.
The days of saying, like we've heard in the past, well, it's your mom, it's your dad. You just have to love them the best way you can and meet them where they are. Some people are saying, hell no, I'm moving on.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get to say that now, right? So it used to be very taboo. No, that's your family. Those are your parents. You get to respect them. And the term narcissist is thrown around so often now. We usually relate it to romantic situations. People don't even realize your mom can be narcissistic. Your father can be on the narcissistic spectrum.
Now, those of us on my channel, it's mostly mother and father. It's mostly family narcissism we're dealing with. Because if you have a narcissistic spouse, usually they're a carbon copy of the narcissist that was abusing you through childhood.
What do you do in that case, right? So if a family is crossing your boundaries, not respecting your boundaries, you do get to say, hell no, I'm out. Absolutely.
And what about those family members that are constantly trying to bring you back into the fold with your mother or your father?
The flying monkeys. The flying monkeys who are now getting the brunt of the abuse that used to be designated for you. Okay? Fuck them.
How do you deal with them?
Hey, they get boundaries too. Everybody gets boundaries. So long story short, a boundary is just...
This girl's got it. She's good. She's good. And I've said, I'm not anti-therapist. I'm not anti-therapy. I'm not anti-therapist. But it has to be a therapist who truly understands narcissism, truly understands cluster B personality disorders. She gets it. But they prefaced her segment with with a mentally disturbed 15-year-old trashing his mother's house as if there's some kind of correlation between these two subjects. And there is zero. Zero.
What's okay with you and what's not okay with you. If you are telling them, hey, this is the decision I've made, that's it, and they're not respecting it, you know, you can talk to them more, or you can set harsher boundaries with them, or even non-negotiables. And so it's very, very difficult to tell family, I don't roll like this anymore.
Yep.
And so you might have to show them better than you can tell them sometimes.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words. She gets it. She gets it.
An odd question is love automatic in a family? Or do you have to attain that as well? Because I've met some people who said, you know, it may be my brother, my sister, my mother, my father, but I just don't have those feelings towards them.
Yep.
It's very possible. You know, love is not always automatic. Love is so many things, and one of those things is an emotion, right? And one of those things, it's a verb. I have to show you love. But let's say, for instance, you know, someone has an abusive father, a history of sexual abuse. It is very possible that I don't choose to love that person anymore. Even if you're my father, even if you're my mother, if you've abused me and caused me trauma and harm, I can choose to step away, and maybe I can maybe I don't even have those feelings of love for you anymore.
Or if you ever did. What most people realize is that they never loved these people in the first place. It was some kind of duty. It was, you know, they were afraid of the reaction. You know, they were afraid of what people would say. But what you find out is most of the time, you never loved these people because they never loved you.
I don't believe it's always automatic.
And adult children have cut ties more with their fathers than their mothers. And is that likely because it was some type of maybe physical and or sexual abuse? Or
I don't know where he's getting that from.
The reasons could vary.
Yeah, I think the reasons could vary. And, you know, I'd honestly have to do research into the reasons why studies show that more often.
Because I'll tell you this, most people on my channel, when it's parental abuse, we're talking about the mothers primarily. There's plenty of fathers in there as well, but we're primarily talking about mothers on this channel.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be any type of abuse. It can be a lack of support. It can be they're overly critical. Maybe the father was inconsistent in and out of the life, you know, that type of thing. Mothers tend to stereotypically be more nurturing and more loyal. So we have that societal influence to kind of stay loyal to mom, but also mothers play more of a nurturing role typically in our lives. So we don't see as much boundary setting and removing ourselves from our mom's life.
All right, Dr. Jasmine Boone, always good to talk to you. A fascinating topic here.
And again, she's on point. Like, this segment would be excellent, and it is an excellent segment. But they started off throwing shade, okay?
For parents out there, can you imagine your temper tantrum? And this was so just for one woman.
With this
video of her destroyed home has gone viral. According to
what did any of this have to do with estranged toxic parents? None of it. But these estranged parents are going to look at this and use this as, you see, you're just throwing shade. And it's bullshit. It is. So, good topic, Thomas. Thank you again for another contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to subscribe to both my Rumble channels. Follow me on Twitter and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.